Have you heard about the idea or the theory of the technological singularity?
That you can download your mind into a computer, that idea?
That's where it seems like the idea tends to always lead to that conclusion.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
But the basic, as I understand it, the basic concept of the quote unquote singularity is the point at which machine intelligence or artificial intelligence becomes iterative to the point that it begins to be able to recreate itself without human operators.
Okay.
And that because machine, computer, electrical technology can process information so many orders of magnitude faster than organic computation, that essentially at the point where the computer starts to be able to rewrite its own code, it iterates in a runaway feedback loop and within within a matter of minutes, hours, days, whatever it is.
Yeah. That's like where we're going to, right? We're going right now to these from LLMs to AGI, artificial general intelligence, to artificial superintelligence. And that in theory should happen incredibly quickly based on exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's why they call it a singularity, I think, is because it's like the analogy to the collapsing of a black hole.
Yeah.
Where the matter falls in and falls into a certain point, but once it reaches a critical mass, then it just collapses. Boom, and it's gone. It becomes a point, a singularity. In this case, it's more like
what's the black hole element? It becomes like self-fulfilling, self-replicating so quickly that it's
like nothing can stop it. That's how I understand the analogy to a black hole. Is it's just there's a point in time where the process could conceivably be reversed, but once it passes a certain threshold, it just poof, and you've got a black hole. And there's no process in the universe that can reverse that from that point forward. I think the same idea is when the artificial general intelligence reaches a certain threshold of being able to rewrite its own programming code with a sufficient level of self-awareness, or you may call it intelligence or something like that, that it becomes a runaway process that can no longer be stopped. And you have something new, what you might call artificial superintelligence, which I don't think any of us can really even know what that means or what that even is. But now you've got it, and that's the singularity. That's the moment of singularity. So I think that's what we're actually doing with our own minds. I think we've been doing it for a while. This is the process that I call intentional evolution.
Okay.
Which is that we've crossed some kind of a threshold already at some point, or maybe we're on that threshold now. Maybe we're crossing it. But the point is at which we become self-aware of our own belief system and realize that, oh, we are made of software, literally. And we developed the psychological, spiritual technology to rewrite our own code.
Interesting.
Which then becomes an iterative process of, oh, we're now, it's not to say that we're completely unhooked from this idea of biological evolution, but we're actually iterating something that's orders of magnitude faster than that.
Dude, take that into its limit. Maybe the nature of biological evolution actually become untethered from it. And that may actually be the point. We always have this question of aliens, like, why don't we see any? Maybe because they've all evolved to this point where they just realize that this is all just a construct.
Talk about a limiting belief.
Totally.
This whole physical.
Because if you think about it, right, we were talking about like magic before we got on this recording. If you think about, let's say, somebody making an object float. Now, I've never personally seen it, but in theory, gravity, they're manipulating the bounds of what we conceive of as gravity. And that's like what you would think of as in this 3D reality, that maybe that's just a construct of our mind that we eventually evolve past. This is like a training ground for that eventual realization. But I love the idea of us being in our own singularity. That is such a fascinating idea. I love it. What'd you call that?
I call it intentional evolution.
Intentional evolution. I love that. Yeah, that's
because it essentially means that we've become aware of the system, and now we're directing it.
I believe that is what you just described is I believe the track that we are on. Like, we are about to evolve very rapidly. And actually, we were talking about artificial intelligence and all this kind of stuff. And actually that may actually not be a worry in the long run once we can intentionally get to this place where we construct any structure that we want.
Suppose it's happening in parallel.
Yeah.
Suppose there's a machine intelligence which also achieves intentional evolution.
Yeah.
We call that the singularity, but suppose we also are doing the same thing.
Maybe we couldn't even conceive of it until we were in the place that we were doing it ourselves. Who knows? They're all like, in some sense, constructs. And so until we understand that it can be done, maybe we with the fact that it can be done.
Right.